Hey rich friend, today I'm sharing with you the importance of your first $10,000 in building wealth. When you think about life-changing financial milestones, many people think of it like buying your first house or saving your first 100K. But contrary to popular opinion, your first $10,000 is the most significant financial milestone for most people. The second you save your first $10,000, everything changes for you, really. Doors are opened up and opportunity to increase your wealth begin to pop up. And if you leverage them successfully, you're on your way to becoming financially free. I personally thought that I needed to have like $1 million saved or invested to begin to have a sense of financial freedom. But immediately I saved my first 10K, I found that this had a tremendous impact on my mindset and my wealth building journey ever since. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the 7 things that happen to you when you save your first 10K that set you on a path of building wealth. If you are new here, hi, I am a CFA charter holder and former investment banker. I spent 7 years advising millionaires and billionaires on how to make, keep, and grow their money. And on this channel, I love sharing strategies to help you build wealth. If being financially free and building wealth is one of your life goals, then give this video a thumbs up and definitely subscribe. The first thing that happens to you when you save your first 10K is that you experience a shift in your mindset towards building wealth. Your first 10K helps you to shatter any mental barrier that you have with wealth building. Most people have mental barriers when it comes to making money, and I have a detailed video about the different money personalities that you can go and watch if you want a sneak peek into that. But the average person has some thought patterns, some mindsets that comes from like how you were raised or the early experiences that you had or you saw with money that can prevent you from building wealth. And this is especially important if you do not grow up around money. Maybe you grew up seeing your parents live hand to mouth, or maybe you're an immigrant and your relationship with money has always been one of scarcity. If you are not careful, you would have mental barriers around building wealth. But once you save your first 10K, this milestone is enough to shift a lot of the negative mindsets that you have with building wealth. If you are someone who has struggled with being financially disciplined before, when you have that 10K on your bank statement, it's not just $10,000 anymore. It is a sign. It is proof of your discipline, proof of your ability to delay gratification. It is proof of your ability to make good choices, right? That would, if you continue making, will eventually lead you, to being wealthy. And for the first time, you can change your self-image from someone who is not good with money, someone who is a spender versus a saver, and you can begin to see yourself as, I'm a financially disciplined person. I was able to save, $10,000. And the great thing about this is like saving $10,000 is like the flywheel effect. When you begin to move the wheel, right, it is very painful. It's almost like pulling teeth or moving through mud. It's very painful. You cannot see the future. But if you continue to move the wheel, after a while, the wheel itself will gain momentum and it will take less and less effort to continue to keep the wheel moving. And before you know it, the wheel will just keep moving by itself, right? With minimal amount of effort that you apply to it. That's what happens. That's one of the first things that happen when you save your first $10,000. The second thing that happens when you save your first $10,000 is you become immune to 99% of the common emergencies that most people face. If you've ever planned anything big, a wedding, a group trip, designing a house, wanting to move, then you've definitely experienced Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law says that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. This is the law of unexpected events or unplanned surprises. And if you've lived on this earth for a few decades, like in your 20s or 30s, you definitely have experienced one or more emergencies that have come up. Maybe your car has an unexpected fault, or maybe somebody has a health emergency, or maybe you lost some money just by mistake or by happenstance, right? And most people are one emergency away from being broke, one emergency away for living paycheck to paycheck. But once you save your first 10K, at this point, you've built yourself a cushion because most emergencies are less than $10,000. If you need to get a root canal, you can pay for it with 10K. If you need to fix something in your car, 10K can go a very long way. Let's say you have a home and you have an home issue. With 10K, you can go very far or even cover the entire expense. Like 10K is a massive buffer against most emergencies. So once you get your 10K, for the first time, you begin to feel confident. Not confident in your money, confident in the fact that an unexpected expense will not derail your entire financial plan. Like if you only had 2K or 3K saved and you are trying to invest that, and then you have to fix an HVAC for $8,000, immediately everything, every single thing that you've saved is wiped out. Whereas if you have 10K saved up and you still have some money that you are investing, if your HVAC spoils or like you have an urgent medical expense, you can just tap in from your 10K and pay for that without touching your investments, without pulling down your stock or any other asset class that you have invested in. So 10K is a massive buffer against emergency expenses. According to a Capital One CreditWise survey, 73% of Americans rank their finance as the number one cause of stress in their life. Can you imagine that? 73%. But once you have 5 figures, 10K in your account, you have moved up above, the majority of Americans because you are covered against most emergencies. You can spend your time with your family and your friends. You can continue to build wealth without the added factor of stress. First thing that happens to you when you save your first 10K is what we can call the snowball effect. The snowball effect basically follows a snowball. When you start building a snowball and it's very tiny, as the snowball continues to roll along the snow, the snowball becomes bigger and bigger and bigger as it continues to roll. The longer it rolls in the snow, the bigger the ball gets. Now, the snowball effect also applies to your money once you have your first 10K. I'm going to bring this concept to light with an example very soon. But once you have 10K, your savings and your investments, they really pick up. The interest you can earn on $1,000 is infinitely smaller than the interest you earn on $10,000. Like before, you are saving and investing, you are investing just 4 figures. Now you'll be investing in 5 figures. And the amazing thing, just like life is, it's easier to save money, it's easier to invest money when you already have money. Why? Because your money grows faster. Time and compounding works in your favor. So here, you can see the snowball effect of saving your first 10K. Let's assume that you have a savings amount of $500 every month, and you're investing this amount in an account that is giving you an 8% return. What you will notice here is that if you contribute $500 consistently every month, you will get to 10K in 19 months. Now, notice something. If you stop investing at this point, even though you got to your first 10K in 19 months, you will get to your second 10K, like you will double your investment in 121 months. So literally, it will take you like 9 years to double your 10K. Like, is that not crazy? However, if you simply continue investing $500, so like, if you just continue your rate of investment, what you've been doing before, just the same $500 every month, you will get to 20K, your money will double in 36 months. So in another 18 months, your money will double. Like your money will take significantly less time to double because of compounding interest and because you're starting with a higher principal. By continuing to do the same thing that you've already been doing, your money grows faster. And in the same 9 years that it would have taken you to double your 10K if you do not continue to invest your $500, in that same 9 years, your money would have increased 10 times. So in like by month 1 to 7, which is about 10 years, your money would have grown times 10. Mind blowing, the power of compound interest. Like you can see here that if you just keep doing the same thing, of which like life, by the grace of God, I'm expecting that your life will continue to get better, your income will continue to increase. So let's say that after 1 year you are able to increase your investment to $1,000 a month. What happens? You hit 20K in just 10 months. Let's say after another year you're able to increase your investment to 1.5. What happened? Like you can see the tremendous impact of compounding interest. And like let's say you just continue to increase your contribution, at different points in time. You can see that by 10 years you are having as high as almost 300K just from this simple monthly contribution. And if you're an earner, let's say you are saving like $1,000 a month, in 1 year you would save your 10K. In the next year, like your money will continue to increase tremendously. So saving your first 10K really gets you to that snowball period where your money begins to grow rapidly. As your income increases, if you continue to increase the amount of money that you're investing as well, the return can be very exponential. The fourth thing, and personally I think this is the most important thing that happens to you when you hit your first 10K, is you have learned the key skills that you need to build wealth. I say it in every video that building wealth is very simple. It comes down to very simple actions taken consistently over time. Like, that's it. Wealth is basically key habits plus time and compounding, consistency. And like, it's not only interest that compounds, your habits also compound. And in saving your first 10K, you would have given yourself the opportunity to master some of these habits. And the habits you need to save your first 10K are the same habits that you need to make your first 1 million. They include things like budgeting, things like delaying gratification, things like managing your expenses, reviewing your investments, being diligent in consistently looking at where your money is going, tracking your net worth. 10K is not going to change your life. 10K is not like life-changing money. But the habits that you would have learned in getting to that first 10K are the same habits that will take you to the 100K and to a million if you continue to practice it. Most people will save 10K in about a year or 2 years. But we know from research that it takes about 66 days for you to master a habit. But imagine if you spend a year, 2 years being disciplined, being frugal, delaying gratification, reviewing your expenses. That habit is going to be ingrained in your brain. So when you hit your first 10K, it's going to be much harder for you to stop being financially disciplined than it is to continue being financially disciplined. You see, it's like you're tricking yourself. If you can get to the first 10K, it's so much more easier to get to the next 100K. It's so much easier to, cut down your expenses even further to increase your rate of savings. The fifth thing that happens to you when you get your first 10K is that investment becomes less risky. Investing is risky for everyone, but the truth is that every single person is exposed to the same kind of risk. Like, if you're in the financial market and you're investing $1,000, you are exposed to the same amount of risk that somebody who is investing $1 million is exposed to. The difference is that, of course, the amount of money that you get to lose is different. Maybe you will get to lose $200, while the person gets to lose like as high as 200K. But in terms of risk exposure, you're exposed to the same financial market crisis. But why this changes for you at 10K is that the proven way to get rich from investing is actually to keep your money in a diversified basket of securities and wait for a long period of time. That has been the proven way to make money. We've seen that actioned out through people like Warren Buffett, who just invest their money and they're hands off, right? They are not trying to day trade. He's doing something that is called value investing. And the good thing is that once you get your first 10K and you invest that 10K, if you continue to live your life the way you've already lived your life, so you are still able to meet your expenses without touching that 10K, what happens for you is that 10K becomes like a nest egg that you can live in an index fund or whatever asset that you have invested in it for a long time. You don't have to always dip in your 10K. You have a base, right? You have like an investment base that you can live untouched for a long time. So that removes the risk for you, because somebody who is just investing like $1,000 or $2,000 and that person is always touching their money, a news article comes up that says, hey, this stock is going to go down, and that person sells their investment. Compared to you that has like 10K saved, and however the market is moving, your money is there. What happens is the market always ebbs and flows. It goes up today, it goes down tomorrow. By leaving your money in there for a long period of time, you are able to average out the highs and the lows of the market. Versus somebody who is trying to game the market, right? They have just a few $1,000 to spend, so they're trying to buy when it's low and sell when it's high. When you have 10K saved up, you are less reactive to market movement, and you can be more deliberate and more long-term in your investing, which is a surefire way to build wealth. Number 6, you are motivated to keep going. 10K is a good financial milestone for most people because it is a good enough number, but it's not difficult to reach. Like, the average person can save up 10K. Many people think you need to get motivated to act, like you need to feel motivated first to take action. However, the truth about motivation is that you need to act to feel motivated. The more you act, the more motivation you get. Like, if you're trying to go to the gym and you're waiting for motivation to enable you to get up from your couch and get to the gym, you will never get up. However, if you tell yourself that I'm going to get up, dress up, and just enter the gym, most times you'll find out that by the time you get to the gym, you'll be like, okay, let me just get on the treadmill for 5 minutes. Before you know it, you get it into the state of flow and you can be working out for the next 30 minutes. Like, the power of just getting going is so important in being motivated. So once you get your first 10K, looking at that money in your bank account is enough to keep you motivated to keep going. And that is why 10K is very powerful. Now, the last thing that happened to you when you get your first 10K is you have the power to say no more. Like, most problems in this life will be solved if you can just say no. No to working extra, taking an extra shift or working extra if you don't want to. Like, because you have 10K, it gives you some form of confidence. You can step back and make decisions from a place of, do I really want to do this versus do I have to do this? You can also have fun, guilt-free. You can budget travel, budget, large expenses, and you can trust yourself that I can confidently afford this because my saving goals are taken care of. That confidence to make financial decisions guilt-free without worrying that the next decision is going to bankrupt you, is going to make you live paycheck to paycheck, is priceless. And you get it once you hit your first 10K. 10K doesn't mean that you are wealthy or you're financially free or your life has changed. But it does mean that your life is getting a little bit easier financially. And if you continue to practice the habits that got you to your first 10K, you are on the way to build wealth and achieve financial freedom. If you are interested in getting to your first 10K, then you need a financial plan. A financial plan is a detailed approach of how you are going to spend, how you are going to save, what you are going to invest in to get you to your financial goals. I have a video I'm going to link up here about how to create a financial plan. I think this video is the next step that you need to take in hitting your first 10K. Thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay rich and build wealth. Bye.